Hello and welcome to another video of the MR2 Noob. Today I'm going to be showing you how to properly jack up the MR2 as well as where its biggest support areas are, and this is a really important thing to know as the MR2 is a very lightweight car, and as a result it's extremely easy to damage its frame. So you have to know where you can jack the car up from and where you can place jack stands. If you're taking your car to a mechanic and the mechanic hasn't worked on MR2s that often, I'd highly recommend showing them this video, as I'll be showing where good places you can support the car. Obviously for this video you're going to need some kind of jack and jack stands, as well as something to block the wheels with. You can either buy these blocks or you can just find something in your garage or around your house that is strong and sturdy enough to stop a wheel from turning. Ideally you could actually get 4 of these, but 2 is good enough for now. I got these. Also for the jack, you'll need to be at least 2 tons. The car only has a mass of about 1,200 kilograms. So a 2-ton jack and 2-ton jack stands is just fine. So I'll start showing you guys where you can jack the car up from. Alright, so if you come on down here to the side of the car, this is something you will probably noticed. And the bottom down here, and these are talked about in the owner's manual, you'll see these 2 notches, and these 2 notches show where you can safely jack your car up from and support it on the side of the road when changing a tire. And you do that using the included jack kit, which is a scissor jack, and this little fold-up thing that you block the opposite wheel with. You can jack the car up here, but you're going to be putting a lot of torque on the frame, and it can take that if you're just getting one wheel off the ground. But instead we're going to be using these areas right here to put our jack stands. And as for specifics, you don't have to put it right on this bend. You can put it just behind it. Just don't put it right in front, but yeah, you can put it just behind it. A lot of people do that. I'm going to be putting it on this area just because I think it's easier. You'll notice that there's also a similar area like this up in the front right there. Let's get that focus for you. Yeah, right there. And that's also where we're going to be putting front jack stands. So here we are at the front of the car. I'll stick the camera underneath it for right now. Now this is directly in the center of the car up the front. If I tilt the camera up, you'll see this kind of indent right there. That is not where you put the jack. That's where I first thought I put the jack, but I did some checking and that's definitely not it. If you put it there, you're going to break something. So if you put the camera down a bit, you'll see right there at the very top of the frame is that little horseshoe shaped piece of plastic. That is where you want to put the jack. Get my hand down into here. This piece right here. You put it inside the piece of plastic. You'll feel there's solid metal back there. And this is where you can safely support the front of your car. Make sure to keep that area in mind and always look for it when jacking up the front of your car. Here we are at the rear of the car, and the rear jack point is actually even easier to find. It is the front engine mount. So if you go under here, you can see right up there this black thing with that little nut in it, and this is where you can put your jack to jack up the rear. It's totally safe. It can take the weight of the engine and the weight of the car, and it's attached to the rear brace, so you're totally fine using this. So now that you all know where it's safe to jack up the MR2 Spyder and where it's safe to place jack stands, I'll show you how to jack the car up, first from the front and then from the rear. I'll do the 2 separately. Say if you're doing an oil change and want the oil to drain completely, what you do is jack up the front first. At least that's what I like to do. Leave the front of the car on jack stands and then jack up the rear. Alright, so now we're ready to start jacking up the car actually. Make sure to align your jack right in that center horseshoe area that I showed you. And just start jacking it up. You will hear a little bit of creaking, but that's okay. There we go. If your jack starts to slide, that's normal. Your jack will always be centered, so usually don't have to worry about it flying off somewhere. That won't be a problem. It's a bit hard to start out jacking this car up at first because it is so low. And once you start getting the car up a bit higher, it becomes easier. Like right now, you can really start going. Hopefully you guys can see that it's going up higher. And there are plenty of different jacks you can get. You might notice that this one doesn't quite go all that high. It is a really inexpensive jack. Like I said, I got this jack and 2 jack stands that you saw for 50 bucks on sale. But there definitely are jacks that can go higher and are actually smaller starting off. That noise you're hearing is actually the tires just moving a bit on the garage floor. And the wheels are off the ground. The wheels are off the ground. And the jack is holding it up, and the car's frame is not bending. That's good. You really don't want the car's frame to bend. That's going to ruin your whole day. So I'm going to jack the car the rest of the way up and show you how to put jack stands down. So these are little cheap jack stands, and we're going to be putting them underneath the car, exactly where I showed you. If you're worried about these hurting the paint of the car, or your car hurting these, you can just wad up some shop towels and put them right up there on top of the blue part. I'll put them under the car. So here are those support points on the side of the car that I was talking to you about. And this is where our jack stands are going to go. So you can just put them right there near the front. I can only raise my car up so high, so these jack stands actually barely fit, embarrassingly. And move them down to where they gotta be. There you go. Jack at the back. Like I said, you want to do it right here on the rear engine mount. So we'll just get the jack up there. That's a little stud. You can either leave that stud inside your jack platform or not. And nudge that right there a bit so that it's right in the middle. Be quiet, man. Let's just make sure this is all nice and lined up. Turn this so it's all good. There we go. Now start jacking. As you can see, the car is on the air and my jack stands are in. Now I put my jack stands a bit behind those 2 little nubs right there and behind this bar right here because my jack is tiny and I can't quite get my car high enough to put them underneath this metal piece right here. But back here, it's all supported by the same metal, and it's just fine to put your jack stands back here. In fact, a lot of people prefer to put them back here rather than on this rail right itself. That being said, always make sure to buy the jack that fits your needs. Right now, I definitely say that this does fit my needs because it gets the car as high as I need to.